Hi, my name's Kim Wells and I came to use Dignity Service last May when I sadly lost my best friend Harry. Harry was more than a dog, he was my best friend. He was just there through everything. He was always by my side. He was such a wonderful thing to come home to. He was always so happy. In all this, I remembered that my husband had used Dignity some years ago for my cat. I have to say it was one of the best calls I made within the first minute. The Dignity team were showing me empathy that I hadn't had. One of the first things they asked me was, where was Harry? And did they want me to go and get him? And that was the point for me when I knew I'd made the right call. They collected Harry and kept me updated the whole way through the process. They were texting me to say they'd safely got him and that he was in their care, and I just knew at that point they were caring for him like he was their family, and that was really, really important. They gave me time, a lot of time. They confirmed they had him, and then they arranged for me to have a few days where I could process and deal with what had happened. There was no pressure to decide what we wanted. Another thing I'd expressed at the vets was I wanted him to go with his blanket. I'd taken him in his blanket. It was the one I tucked him into bed in. So it was really important that he left with that. And they made sure he did. The service I chose for Harry was the attended service. For me, it meant I could go and say a final goodbye to him in a much nicer way, a much more relaxed environment. There were plenty of services that I could use. So as I say, those few days they gave me just gave me time to really choose what I wanted for him. In the end, I chose to have Harry's paw prints. I had a fur clipping. I'd also had expressed that I wanted Harry to be in a necklace, so they offered me a token of his ashes as well, so that I could do that, but also have him in a scatter tube so that I didn't have to feel like I was disturbing him out of that tube. So having time with Harry before he was cremated was really lovely, and it kind of killed those horrible last minutes I'd had and those images I had in my head. It was a much nicer image for me. We took a lovely walk up the Walk of Remembrance, which was just really serene. Everything was really peaceful, and yeah, it was just a lovely experience. As Harry was cremated, there was one other thing. I'd had a key ring, which meant I had part of it, and Harry also had a heart, which was tied around his wrist. I was able to stay with him, and then after I came to the gardens and I sat whilst Harry was cremated, and for me again it was a really peaceful, serene situation, and I can't thank the Dignity team enough for everything they've done for us as a family and for Harry's final journey.